The following year, Montcalm mounts an assault on Lake George. This time, 2,000 warriors go with him. In August 1757, 150 Indian canoes accompany an armada of French bateaux gliding down the lake. It's a formidable force. Along with the Indians are nearly 6,000 French regulars and Canadian militiamen. They are surging by land and water toward Fort William Henry, the fort William Johnson built after the Battle of Lake George. In the middle of the fleet, they see 30 pontoons, bateaux lashed together with planks, each carrying a heavy siege cannon or mortar. From the fort, the British realize Montcalm is setting up an encampment near the lakeshore. But they don't yet realize that an advance party, 3,000 strong, has already set up 2 more camps in the woods, close to the fort's provincial encampment and the fort itself. The British are surrounded. For the fort's commander, Lieutenant Colonel George Monro, the situation is desperate. He writes to his superior, General Daniel Webb, imploring him to send more troops. Monro's letter is delivered by courier to General Webb, 16 miles down the road at Fort Edward. Meanwhile, both sides gird for a classic European-style siege. Under a French red flag of truce, Montcalm's aide-de-camp, Louis-Antoine de Bougainville, approaches Fort William Henry.
Compagnie! Halt!
To your commanding officer, from General Montcalm.
In accordance with European military protocol, Montcalm offers Monro a chance to surrender before the battle begins. As leverage, he invokes the memory of the Indians' behavior at Fort Oswego.
I owe it to humanity to summon you to surrender. At present, I can restrain the natives and make them observe the terms of a capitulation, as I might not have the power to do under other circumstances. I demand a decisive answer within an hour.
Demand a decisive answer within an hour.
Still waiting for reinforcements from Webb, Monro responds.
General Montcalm, I am especially obliged to you for the kind offers that you make me, but I cannot accept them. I am little afraid of barbarity.
Besides, I have under my orders soldiers who are determined, like myself, to die or conquer. We will fight to the last extremity.
Montcalm needs to get his cannons into firing range. He orders his troops to dig a network of trenches. 500 men work round the clock for 3 days, digging their way toward the fort. By daylight, Monro's forces do what they can to disrupt the French efforts.
Handle cartridge!
Charge! Cartridge! Ram! Cartridge! Prime! Advance the piece! Ready! Fire!
Monroe continues to expect news of reinforcements at any moment. The next day, General Webb finally returns the courier with his reply. Care had been taken to hide Webb's letter, but its discovery gives the French the upper hand. On the morning of August 6th, the siege opens as it had the previous 2 days, with the British bombardment directed at the French advance. But Montcalm's trenches are at last within range of the fort. This time, the French answer back with a burst of cannon and mortar rounds. From exposed positions just outside the fort walls, Indian snipers harass the British gunners. Casualties in the fort are mounting. The French artillery proves devastating. At one point, they hit the fort's flag. When a carpenter attempting to repair it is killed, the symbolism is not lost on either side. Montcalm chooses this moment to suspend the bombardment. He again sends Bougainville forward to propose the British surrender. Bougainville delivers Webb's blood-stained message found on the courier. Only then does Monroe learn that Webb thought it not prudent to send reinforcements. Instead, Webb had advised Monroe to get the best surrender terms possible.
From General Montcalm. I am sorry for you, sir. I hope General Webb's letter will persuade you to surrender the sooner.
I thank you, Captain Bougainville, for your politeness. You've been a most generous enemy. It has been my pleasure.
According to the etiquette of siege warfare, Monroe can surrender with honor only after the fort's walls have been breached. With the walls losing timber, the fort's engineer reports to Monroe. The structure may not hold for long. More importantly, the morale of Monroe's men is shattered. Most have had little sleep for 5 days. Surrender is Monroe's only choice. Montcalm designs the terms of surrender to avoid repeating the events at Fort Oswego the year before. To prevent the Indians from taking captives, the British will be granted safe passage from the fort. Provisions and supplies will go to Canada. The British may keep their personal effects. The Indians can take what's left.